All right, what's up, everybody? All right, let's talk creating our own systems and customer service. So, I'm going to start with creating our own systems. And I want you to know that what I'm going to be coaching you guys on tonight is what my system is and how I do things. And so, I think sometimes the best way for me when I'm teaching is to show you what works for me, what's worked for me, and to have you guys, if you want, implementing that and then grabbing what you love from it and keep on doing that until you're able to incorporate what works for you and replacing it with your own ways. So, all right. So for me, organization is everything. I'm almost like organized, like to a fault sometimes, because I organize everything. And so for keeping it simple tonight, with this training, I'm going to tell you guys that I have 4 things. Okay. Number one is a notepad. And you guys can use, I started with just like a yellow notepad, just like one like this. And I ended up converting that into a notebook. So this notebook is going to be your customer and prospect notepad or notebook, whichever you prefer. The second thing that I'm going to recommend that you all have is a business calendar. Okay. And this is going to be for scheduling, content creation, stuff like that. We'll get into each one. The third is going to be a training notebook. Okay. And I'll get into this as well. And the fourth is going to be a journal. Okay. So those 4 things: a notepad for all of customers and prospects, a business calendar for scheduling and content creation, a notebook for trainings, and a notebook for journaling. Those are the 4 things that I recommend you do it, whatever it is that you want to do. So let's start with the customer notebook and prospects and what I do with this. So when I first was getting started, because that's how I'm going to coach tonight, I would have a notepad written down with everybody's name that I talk to. Okay. And I always start by asking 3 really important questions with whoever I start talking to. And that is, what are your health goals? What are you struggling with? And what are you looking to improve? And I take on that notepad. So I write, Donna or Judy, and next to it, I will write whatever it is that they say that they're focused on. So whether or not, this conversation continues now or later, I don't have to remember or scroll up in the conversation to find out exactly what that was. So it makes the interaction between me and my customers that much more personal. So after I ask that and I keep notes on what they say, then I'm either going to explain what products I believe work best for them, or I'm going to use the ATM system, which is what Modere wants us to use. So that's what I'm going to go into detail about now. So the ATM system is the real results room. So after they say, what their health goals are, I'm looking to lose weight, and you always want to get them to be a little bit more specific. And that's why that 3-part question is so important, because they'll say, I want to lose weight, right? Maybe they just say that. And then it's like, okay, great. How much weight would you love to lose? Right. And then they'll say 30 pounds, or they might get a little bit more personal. Some people get, more personal and let you know why it is that they gain the weight, right? They want to put like a reason behind that. And so you learn a lot by asking more questions. The key to all of this is just listening more to what they have to say and not so much providing the information until they give you the answers to what it is that you can, utilize to better assist them. So after, they answer weight and 30 pounds, I always like to ask if they, currently, if they're aware of what collagen does for their body. Do they currently use a collagen supplement? So those 5 questions are my go-tos. And then when using the ATM system, I'm going to ask them if it's okay if I invite them to a private Facebook group filled with tons of information on the supplements that I love, the products that the supplements that I use and love, and, that's filled with tons of testimonials from other customers like yourself who, use these products. And they always say yes, right? Because they want that validation, sometimes more from just us. And so then I go ahead and I add them. I let them know that I added them, tell them to give me a thumbs up once they're in. They do. And as soon as they're in, you guys in boards, under ATM, the folder, it goes through exactly what I'm saying right now. And you will add them. They'll let you know they're in. You will tag them in 3 videos. One is about collagen, another one about what collagen does for your body, and then another one about the lean body system. And I tell them to let me know when they're done. And once they're done, they come back to me and we continue on with that conversation. And I ask them what they loved. So as soon as they tell me what they loved from the video, we go on. Sometimes the sale happens and sometimes it doesn't. Again, I have my notepad, right? I have their name. I have that they want to lose weight. They want to lose 30 pounds. And I also write down where I got with them. So I write down ATM, or I just write down what they've told me, right? Wherever I leave off in that conversation, that's where my notes end. So I always leave like 2 or 3, 4 lines for each customer so I can just fill in as I go with my relationship with each person. So that's what I use that notepad for. In the second part of the notepad in my notebook, right around in here, I do have it like marked off with a little thing. I have everybody who I'm interested in working with. So if you're interested in the builder side of the business, that's where you can, start writing down, just names of people that you come across, people that you already know, or people that you start conversations with, customers that are loving their products, and just start kind of like making that list. And as you get more and more comfortable to reaching out, that's where I keep that. And I keep the same notes that I'm talking about now. So that's my first notepad. So my second is the business calendar. I have tried in the past, I have a full-time job. I have tried to have one calendar for all of it. And some of you may be like, girl, you still got a calendar. You don't use like your phone. No, my phone's like my personal life, and I put everything business on paper. So it's up to you. Google has really good calendars where you can like color code stuff and whatnot. That just doesn't work for me, but find a calendar that works best for you. For me, it's straight up something that I can just write in, refer to, sits where I'm going to see it, whatever. And in that, like I touched on, in a previous training, just about my goals are in my calendar every month. And then every day I write down in my calendar exactly who I need to talk to, the trainings that are coming up. What else did I write down to tell you guys? So meetings, trainings, content creation. Pick a day during the week that you guys are going to just, create content, right? A day during the week where you're going to go through your subscribe and save and write down every customer that's coming up. I would implore you to reach out to your customers on when they have a subscribe and save coming up 3 days before the date that their subscription would run or process. And the reason for that is because 3 days before, Modera is going to reach out to them via email, text, what have it. And I want them to hear from us first, right? It just shows that the customer service part that I'll get into that is everything. So plan your week. For me, it's every Sunday. So every Sunday morning, I just take an hour or whatever it takes and just go through the weekly calendar, right? Go back into the Hustlers Facebook page or through the chat or whatever, if I didn't keep up with it during the week, because, life. And I just write down whatever those trainings are. Then I go into my back office. I go to subscription value is the report you want to go to. And I do it by descending, right? The little toggle at the top for all the dates. And I just write down if I've got somebody coming up on, what is today, May 3rd. If I have somebody coming up on the 6th, I'm talking them today. If I have someone coming up on the 7th, on the 4th in my calendar, I'm writing down their name that I have to follow up with them for a subscription. The same thing goes for the last part with your customer notepad, right? So like, in your customer notepad, like you've got somebody who says like, I really want to order, but I can't order until next Friday. Right away, grab your notepad or your calendar, whatever it is or whatever that you are, keeping track with. Hi, Stacy. And you're just going to go ahead and just write it right in your calendar. And it just takes the thought process out of it of who did I have to follow up with, or what did I have to do, what was going on today, and just organized. And for some of you, you may be really organized. You'd be like, okay, Megan, speed it up or whatever. But like a lot of people aren't. This is like something that a lot of people struggle with. So those are my best tips with the business calendar. So it's planning your week every Sunday, a day that works best for you. Making business hours, I've touched on that before. Business hours are so important, and maybe that changes every day for you. For me, it does. So whatever those business hours are, put that in your calendar on each day. Meetings and trainings, content creation, follow-up notes, and the names of people that you need to talk to that day. Your subscribe and saves, any follow-ups that you have. And then something that's really cool to do, and we don't talk about it a lot, but I started doing it this year, is tracking your points. So every day, if you just write down next to the day on your calendar how many customer points you have, it's really cool as you're like progressing on in your business to look back and be able to reflect on just how far you've come or where you've been, right? There's a lot of like motivation and really cool, feelings that come from taking a step back and checking out, where you're at. So, all right, that is number 2. Number 3 is your training notepad. All right, I'm going to geek you all out for a minute because I am super dorky when it comes to all of this organization stuff and whatnot. But every Monday we have a hustlers call, right? And there's usually some sort of training on it, or you're on a training now and you're watching this, right? And sometimes like you don't really know where to write it if you're, not super psycho OCD organized like I am. I have 2 notebooks that I do all my trainings in. Okay. One is everything business and one is everything hustlers. Okay. And then I literally take a Post-it note. I got to get a new one. I used my last one last night with Lindsay's training. So just take a Post-it note, right? And I rip one off and then I rip it in half. Okay. And I write whatever it is that's in that block of my notebook. So for me in my notebook, and then I just stick it, right? Like in it, so I can easily find what it is that I'm looking for, because otherwise you're like scrolling through your notepad. So I found this to be really cool. So like mine are, an elite run, branding yourself, project broadcast. I still have a Black Friday tab going on that I can refer to. I've got prospecting, I've got 30-minute blitzes, right? And how to 333, how to find my niche, right? And the list goes on. So just a really cool, easy way to get back to finding a training. The reason I write everything down and take notes is because that's how I remember. Some people are visual. That's me. Some people are auditory, not me. If you are, so jealous, but that's what I guys with my training. I think that's Stacey. Let me mute her. I love her. But right, so that's what I do. If it works for you, great. Try it out. If you don't have a system right now, try mine. It's not broken. It works. It's the easiest way that I found to stay organized and be able to jump back to crap. Somebody mentioned that, right, Donna? And I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was really important. And it's probably in our notes, right? In pages of things that we then have to like read through. Nah, man, I want it now. So that's what I do. All right. So, and the last part's journaling. Before I get into customer service, so I'm going to talk about journaling real quick. I know this is Lindsay Ray's the best at this. She's actually got me on this. I ended up getting a journal myself, because I was just writing things down in different places and whatnot. But a journal, you guys, and here's why. Here's what's really cool about a journal. And I'm sure, right, if we had a diary when we were a little girl or whatever, what's really cool about journaling as an adult is it's really not any different, is it? We're just older. So I love writing down my thoughts, and then I love analyzing backwards. And what I mean by analyzing backwards is just taking, whether it's by day or by week, however you choose, if you choose to journal, what worked, what didn't, and what can I do to change it? What can I do to improve it? Those are the 3 questions that when you journal, on top of how you're feeling, and talking about your I am statements or your manifestations or whatever you're into. It's just a really cool place to write it down, and again, reflect, come back to, and all that jazz. So journal. Those are my 4 things. And not last, I'm going to end on customer service. How am I doing? Cool. I got 10 minutes left. So customer service, here's the number 1 tip that I can give you that will change everything. Having been in customer service now for, I want to say 20 years, but I think, back to what we got our first jobs when we were like 12 or 13, right? We've been in customer service most of our lives. And so if you can care more about the person that you're reaching out to, the person that you're talking to, the person that you're helping, more than the sale, that's the best customer service you can give. So it's not about the sale, right? It's not about the rank advancement. At the end of the day, help more people, right? What you give, you get. Bryn Lang taught me this. She was my first coach in this business, and she taught me hope. Help one person every day. That's exactly what this business is. And so if you can turn your mindset into being, somebody who just wants to help at least one person every day, it's limitless of who and how many people you can talk to. And we are very blessed to be a part of a company where our products can help the masses. So keep that in mind. I am in the process right now in boards of, there's a folder in there for customer service. It is a work in progress, and I promise to you that I will keep working on it, but there's some follow-up notes and stuff in there, but I'm going to give you a few that are really, really important to write down. The first one's keep your word. Keep your word. Your word's everything. Think about customer service today and how many times you're aggravated every time you have to deal with customer service. Be everything you never receive, right? Be the customer service rep you never get. Be the team member that you never had. Be the leader you never had, right? That's what all of this is about. Keep your word. Keep your word. If you say you're going to follow up, do it. Write it in your calendar. If you say that you're going to be available tomorrow at 5:00, be available at 5:00, right? Keep your appointments. Keep your word. Number 2, 24 to 48 hour follow-up from your original conversation is key. A lot of times there's the question in your head, how I don't want to seem too eager. You're not eager. You're helping them, right? And we all get busy. So 24 to 48 hours tops, no later than 48 hours. You just want to reach back out to anybody that you've talked to for the first time and follow up. Number 3 is 4 to 5 days after that. Maybe they ghosted you, right? I call it a bobblehead. Saw their little circle head in the corner and it's crickets, right? They saw it. The thing is that they might have, or they might have accidentally opened it, or their kid opened it, or whatever. It's never about you. The no is never a no. The no is not right now. The ghosting is not ghosting you. The ghosting is just life, right? Think about all those things, right? Same with you. There's so many people who can jump on tonight, right? And some people feel the need to just let everyone know, like, I really want to be there. No doubt. So does everybody else. If somebody reached out to you or, told you that they need help, they don't not need help. They do, and they always will, right? So it's not about you, right? It's always about them. So if you take the you out of it and let go of it, you being too pushy, you being too eager, you wanting a sale, right? Or you it's nothing ever to do with you. If you keep the focus on the customer, that's it. I don't even know what to say. Like that's what it's about. It's about the other person always. It's never about you, and nothing's ever personal. So then after 4 to 5 days, right, you're reaching back out to them and it's, sorry, I've been busy. I'm sure you have been too. I just wanted to follow up again. How are you? You know, are you still interested? Have you had a chance to watch the video? Whatever that next follow up is, because in your notes, you already know where you left off, right? You're just following up that way. And then the next one is 7 to 10 days later. And the 7 to 10 days later is about like putting it not so much that like you've been busy, right? It's that they've been busy too. So I know you're busy and I don't want to ever feel like I'm annoying you. So please at any time let me know, right? Just kind of like, you know, that cautionary, like, let me know if you're no longer interested, but if you are, I'll keep reaching out, right? And then the final one, and this sometimes freaks people out, but after that 10 days, right, it's been 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever, and you're just getting back to them and they're still like, this conversation's not going anywhere, take it away. Take it away. Hey, I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove you from my list, right? You can even say like, I know you're busy, you know, I've got a lot of people to follow up with and I don't want to be bothering you anymore. So I'm just going to remove you from my list. 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you to leave them on it. It's not about you, it's about them. And then here's 3 more really important things to write down on when you're going to follow up. And this is after somebody has placed their order. I can't stress this enough. And if you guys want, I can totally go into more of this, but this is the 3 important times. Once their order arrives. Okay, so all of the Modera orders arrive within 5 to 7 days after you place the order, right? Or your customer, you know, confirms with you that they placed their order, and you can see that in your back office. 5 to 10 days later, around 5 or 6 days, even 4, you should be able to go into your back office, click on their name, click on their orders, open up their order, double click on their tracking information, drop it in your search bar. It'll pull up, I think it's FedEx, right? And it'll tell you exactly when that's going to get dropped off on their porch. So you know, write it in your calendar. That day, if you didn't already tell them, and I would tell them to tell you exactly when they receive their product so you can tell them how to use it. So important. If you don't do that, if you miss that part, take it upon yourself to find out when that order arrives and reach out to them, congratulating them that their order arrived, and let them know how to use their products. And all of that is in boards under receipt, their first order folder. So that's the first time. The second one's 14-day check-in. Sometimes you're a little scared, right? Maybe they haven't seen anything yet. Oh, they've noticed something, right? Complainers are always going to be complainers, but they've noticed something. And so you're going to flip that script. At 14 days, after 2 weeks that they've had their products, you're going to check back in. You're not going to ask them if they've been taking it, if they've nothing like that. All you're going to say is, if they haven't reached out to you already, you're going to say this. Just wanted to reach back. How are you? Just wanted to reach back out and ask you what you're loving so far. That's it. Let them answer. They're loving something. And when you make the question where they have to answer positively, you're not asking them what they think so far. You're not asking them how they're feeling, right? You're asking them what they're loving so far, because you know they're loving something. And the third one is 3 days before their subscribe and save. Find out when they're due for their next shipment, and 3 days before, reach back out. If you mess up, you mess up. 2 days before, 1 day before it runs is better than never at all. If you never follow up, it was just a sale. And that's how it will feel. No different than if they bought their supplements online somewhere and not from you or GNC or Amazon, right? Where no one follows up. This business is all about connection. It's all about relationships. And it starts with you. And that's all I got. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. I love you all. And I'm going to open it up now for questions from those of you who are on here. And if you're not, feel free to drop them in the comments in the Hustlers Facebook page. See ya.